I'm joined by former Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia, Congress General Secretary in charge of Western Uttar Pradesh, who is now campaigning in UP. Sir, thank you for making time for WION, and let me begin this interview by asking you, sir, how is Congress positioned in Uttar Pradesh as per Lok Sabha elections?
Well, it is our intention to ensure that at the grassroots level, the Congress re-emerges as a potent force. That is what we have been tasked with, not only for this Lok Sabha election, but also for the 2022 Vidhan Sabha election. And that work has started in right earnest from in the last 60 days since we've assumed charge. And it is our effort to ensure that we do a couple of things. One, the party has put in place a very clear strategy to ensure that grassroots leaders are given prominence. We build our cadre at the grassroots level. And thirdly, to ensure that the right candidates are placed in every parliamentary seat to ensure that the most adequate outcome and the victory comes out across the state. So that is what we have been working at over the last 2 months, and I'm quite confident that we as a party will emerge much stronger in this election.
Mr. Scindia, why didn't Congress actually get into an alliance with Samajwadi Party and BSP? What were the reasons?
Well, I think this question is best answered by them, because we did make the efforts to try and show that happens. But I guess sometimes things are meant to be, and sometimes things are not meant to be. And this time around, it didn't work out. That doesn't mean that our doors are closed for the future. Our doors are open for the future. Let's see how that works out post the elections. But at this point of time, we are fighting on our very clear core strength, and we are building the party in Uttar Pradesh for this Lok Sabha election and for 2022.
So are you saying that the Congress is open to the idea of a political realignment with SP, BSP?
In politics, all options are always open.
So, Congress today is not even in double digit. What makes you so confident to go alone? Last assembly elections?
Please remember this, Kartikeya, that in every challenge also lies an opportunity. And I think that the field is wide open in Uttar Pradesh for the Congress to re-emerge. But that re-emergence has to happen not from the top, but it has to happen from the bottom. So we have to go back to the grassroots and work from the bottom up to ensure that we build a strong party. And that is what we have been doing with the alliances that we've been putting together, with the grassroots workers that we have been re-energizing, with the selection process that we have put in place for our candidates, to ensure that we build the party for not only Lok Sabha 2019, but for the future.
So a lot of people are saying that if this decision had to be taken, if Jyotiraditya Scindia and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra had to be given the charge of Uttar Pradesh, then why was this charge given to them so late in the day? Why were they inducted so few months before the Lok Sabha elections? Because ultimately people will say that, well, this was responsibility given to two very senior leaders, and this is what has happened.
That's okay. I think that it's the party's prerogative to decide when and where the party decides to entrust what responsibility to which worker. And I don't think it's for me or anyone else to comment, but I think this is a great responsibility that the party has entrusted on me. And I also do believe that this is the right time to refocus our energies on UP and to ensure that we build a strong party for the future. Now, to say that hypothetically, if it had been done a year ago or 5 months later, you and I are not in a position to answer hypothetical questions and what-if questions. We have to answer on the here and now. And I believe that the here and now for UP is now.
So, Mr. Scindia, Congress is fighting on jobs, you are fighting on Nyay, you are fighting on the issue of delivery. Do you think it is enough to take on that hairy cocktail of hard Hindutva and nationalism post-Palakot political narrative?
At the end of the day, this country is built on a rock-solid edifice of secularism, of bhaichara, and on that edifice is built a vertical of economic growth. Today, the foremost challenge in India is threefold. One, an atmosphere of intolerance which has never been the case, irrespective of which party has been in power over the last 3 to 4 decades. Second, the whole issue of jobs, jobs and jobs. You're talking about the highest rate of unemployment in the history of India. Mr. Modi says, what has the Congress done in 70 years? Mr. Modi, you're very right. You have done in 70 years what the Congress could never do, which is the highest rate of unemployment in this country. You have done to this country what the Congress never did in 70 years, which is create such a serious atmosphere of intolerance in this country, where every single human being feels insecure, whether that person is a youngster, whether he is a farmer, whether he or she is a youth. And that is the challenge that we are taking head on, because वो भारत का अस्तित्व है. अगर उस अस्तित्व के साथ आपने छेड़छाड़ किया तो भारत की नींव के साथ आप छेड़छाड़ कर रहे हैं. And it is our duty as a citizen, forget about my Congress hat, it is our duty as a citizen to protect that knee of India.
But Mr. Scindia, a lot of people would say that BJP has won the culture war, because ultimately if they are hard Hindutva, there is an element of soft Hindutva in Congress today. For example, in Madhya Pradesh, when Mr. Kamal Nath was campaigning, there are cases of vigilantism throughout this country. The whole talk was about building more Gaushala. So how do you address that issue, sir?
Well, what is the problem in building more Gaushalas? Does the BJP have the बीजेपी की बपौती है गाय पर? क्या गाय बीजेपी की है? क्या मंदिर बीजेपी का है? क्या मस्जिद किसी और पार्टी का है? या ईदगाह किसी और पार्टी का है? यह भारत है. यह भारत आपका है और मेरा है. मंदिर, मस्जिद, गुरुद्वारा, थियोसॉफिकल लॉज सब आपका है और हमारा है. गौ माता सब आपकी और हमारी है. जो गौ रक्षा की बात करते थे, जो गाय माता सड़कों पे भटकती है, कहां गए ये सारे गौ रक्षक? कौन से बिल में घुस गए हैं? क्यों नहीं आते निकलने के लिए, इनकी रक्षा करने के लिए? अगर हम गौशाला बना रहे हैं तो गायों की रक्षा करने के लिए बना रहे हैं. उसमें क्या कोई पाप है? क्या आपको आपत्ति है या आपको खुजली लग रही है कि कांग्रेस की सरकार बना रही है? भाजपा को इतना ज्यादा रिएक्शन किस बात की? क्या उनकी जमीन खिसक रही है?
Are you saying it's okay?
It's not okay, it's right. What is right is right, what is wrong is wrong. What is wrong with it? What is happening in UP today? They talk about गौ रक्षा, आवारा पशुओं के आधार पर कितना फसल चौपट हो रहा है.
I think you're the first leader who's talking about it, sir. Because in UP, not many people have taken up this issue.
It is a huge issue.
Stray cattle from your own party also.
It is a huge issue. और हमने जो मध्य प्रदेश में करके दिखाया है, गौ माता की रक्षा के लिए और किसान की समृद्धि के लिए, दोनों के लिए. मैं तो चाहूंगा कि जो मध्य प्रदेश सरकार में के संकल्प पत्र में हम लोग ने मिलकर बनवाया था, हम लोग ने रखा था, वो हम सारे देश में हम लागू करेंगे. क्या कोई भी चीज किसी एक पार्टी की बपौती बन जाती है क्या?
Okay, let me be the devil's advocate here, sir. Your critics say, but this sort of aggressiveness when it comes to culture, religion was not there before 2014. How do you respond to it?
I completely disagree with that. This country is not, and this religion, Hinduism is, first of all, my religion is not a religion. It's a philosophy. हिंदू धर्म नहीं है, दर्शन शास्त्र है. इन्होंने बनाया है कट्टरवादी हिंदुत्व. मेरा धर्म कभी भी कट्टरवादी नहीं था, ना आज है. मैं एक हिंदू हूं, मैं गर्व है मैं हिंदू हूं, पर मेरी धर्म की सोच विचारधारा है वासुदेव कुटुंब, सबको साथ में लेके चलना. और कोई अगर मेरे धर्म के साथ ये खेलखाड़ करेगा तो उसके विरोध में जरूर बोलूंगा. इस देश के सामाजिक ताना बाना के साथ छेड़छाड़ करेगा तो मैं जरूर बोलूंगा.
Okay.
ये देश धर्म और जात के आधार पर बहुत चल चुकी. आर्थिक विकास, आर्थिक प्रगति, हर एक व्यक्ति का मान सम्मान, उनकी जाति, समाज, धर्म जो भी हो, क्षमता के आधार पर लोगों को आगे करना, गरीबों का उत्थान करना, ये हम लोगों का दायित्व होना चाहिए.
Okay, Mr. Scindia, you have taken a very contrarian position on this issue. But then, if you look at the political discourse, this is the first phase of the election. The Prime Minister and other political leaders from Bharatiya Janata Party attacked Rahul Gandhi on saying that why did he have to go to a constituency which had a substantial minority population? So my question to you is,
क्या कठिनाई है?
But let me finish my question. So my question to you is that doesn't it somehow, in our political discourse, mainstreams majoritarianism? Ultimately, the debate revolves around it.
देखिए, ना ये बहुसंख्यक की लड़ाई है, ना अल्पसंख्यक की लड़ाई है. ये लड़ाई है लोगों की मान और सम्मान की लड़ाई, लोगों की सुरक्षा की लड़ाई, लोगों की विकास और प्रगति की लड़ाई. भाजपा चाहती है कि चर्चा वहीं जाए जहां आप ले जा रहे हो. आप इनके मायाजाल में मत फंसिए. मेरा देश का 2000 साल पुराना इतिहास है और उस इतिहास का गर्व और उसकी विचारधारा मेरे जहन में है और हर भारतीय के जहन में है. किसी को कहने की जरूरत नहीं है.
So you are saying that since the manifesto focused on न्याय, since the manifesto focused on jobs, since the manifesto focused on employment,
आपको आपत्ति है कि अगर कोई भी नेता किसी और क्षेत्र से लड़े तो आपको आपत्ति है?
No, I'm not even going into that. I'm saying that you think that these three issues are enough to take on BJP's cultural pitch. Are you saying that these issues are sufficient and relevant?
They are strike at the very root and core of our existence today. What the BJP has created in the last 5 years is a boiling pot of intolerance, sectarianism, which strikes at the root of my country's heart. And I, as a citizen of my country, forget I'm a congressman, have to stand up and protect that core. Because if you don't have that core, then there's nothing left in terms of the vivacity of my country.
Tell me, where has BJP failed in terms of delivery? They have created a welfare state. They have
where have they? I want to ask you, where is it that they've delivered? What is Ujjwala? आपने एक गैस का सिलेंडर दे दिया, उसकी रिफिल भी नहीं हो पा रही है. 1300-1400 रुपया गैस का एक सिलेंडर. आपने कहा था कि 2 करोड़ रोजगार के अवसर दोगे हर साल, 10 करोड़ 5 साल में. सब आंकड़े आपके पास है कार्तिक. 3 लाख रोजगार के अवसर पर भी एक साल में इन्होंने नहीं उत्पन्न करवाए. मतलब 1% टारगेट का भी नहीं. कहा था काला धन खत्म करेंगे, नोटबंदी कर दी. 15,44,000 करोड़ देश के गाड़ी के इंजन में से तेल खींच दिया आपने. पिस्टन जाम हो गए, विस्फोटक हो गया. और 15,28,000 करोड़ बैंक के खाते में वापस आ गया. 125 जाने गई. किसको सजा देंगे हम? कौन से चौराहे पर मोदी जी खड़े रहेंगे जो कह रहे थे वो? कहा था कि महंगाई खत्म करेंगे. पेट्रोल का क्या दाम है आज? डीजल का क्या दाम है? रसोई गैस का क्या दाम है? रुपया का क्या दाम है? असहिष्णुता का वातावरण पूरे देश में. बलात्कार हर राज्य में. महिलाओं की अस्मिता की बात करते थे ये. कहां गया महिला सशक्तिकरण? एक हमारी लोकसभा की अध्यक्षा, उनका भी टिकट काट दिया. यह है महिला सशक्तिकरण. गुरु शिष्य परंपरा की बात करते हैं, हिंदुत्व की, जो गलत है. मैं कहता हूं कि हिंदू धर्म है, हिंदुत्व नहीं है कोई शब्द हमारे शब्दकोश में. और उसी गुरु शिष्य परंपरा का पूर्ण उल्लंघन करके अपने गुरु को ही निकाल के बाहर का दरवाजा दिखा दिया. क्या ये असूल हम सिखाएंगे अपने भविष्य की पीढ़ी को?
But a lot of people would say that they have delivered on the issue of national security. Look at the surgical strikes, Balakot, ability to strike inside Pakistan.
No, let me tell you. This is not the first time that preemptive strikes have taken place. You're a journalist. You know it better than I do. The only difference is that responsible governments don't go around tom-tomming about this. Irresponsible governments for political gain do it. And that is what the BJP has done. And irrespective of that, the first day after the strikes, Rahul Gandhi as Congress president and each person has stood up and said, we support this government not 100%, 300%. राष्ट्र सुरक्षा, देश की सीमाओं की सुरक्षा के मामले में, आतंकवाद के मामले में आप कांग्रेसी नहीं हो, आप समाजवादी पार्टी नहीं हो, आप भारतीय जनता पार्टी नहीं हो, आप बीएसपी नहीं हो, आप भारतीय हो। आपके पास एक ही झंडा है आपके हाथ में और वो है तिरंगा। तो इस विषय में कोई दो राय नहीं हो सकती, दो विचारधारा नहीं हो सकती। हां, हम लोगों का हक है कि राष्ट्र सुरक्षा पर प्रश्न हम जरूर पूछें कि आतंकवाद की कितनी घटनाएं हुए पिछले 5 वर्षों में। वो हमारा दायित्व है एक जिम्मेदार विपक्ष के रूप में। पर राष्ट्र सुरक्षा के मामले में हम सब एक हैं। सरकार जिसकी भी हो, भारत के मामले में उस सरकार के साथ हम खड़े रहेंगे।
Mr. Sandhya, your thoughts on the way this government has handled Kashmir?
चौपट कर दिया कश्मीर को। इससे ज्यादा अवसरवादी तत्व क्या दिखेगा आपको कि जिस दल की आप सदैव आलोचना करते थे उसी के साथ आपने हाथ मिला लिया। कोई विचारधारा नहीं, कोई मूल्य सिद्धांत में संगम नहीं, और क्या हाल कर दिया जम्मू कश्मीर का। एक लोकसभा का चुनाव अब 4 चरण में हो रहा है, 5 चरण में हो रहा है। कोई चुनाव, वहां विधानसभा चुनाव आप नहीं होल्ड कर सकते। नौजवान आज सड़क पर है, पैलेट गन्स इस्तेमाल किए जा रहे हैं बच्चों पर। तबाह कर दिया आपने, इसका जवाब आपको देना पड़ेगा। कहां अटल जी की सोच और कहां इनकी सोच, कहां मनमोहन सिंह जी की सोच और कहां इनकी सोच। हां, आपने एक चीज जरूर किया है कि जिन जिन योजनाओं को हमने क्रियान्वयन की, हमने शुरुआत की, चाहे वो टनल की बात हो, रेलवे ट्रैक की बात हो, मेरे पूर्व मंत्रालय के पावर प्रोजेक्ट की बात हो, रिबन काटने के लिए आप पहुंच जाते हो। उसके अलावा एक शब्द नहीं। देश में लोग मारे जाएं, किसान आत्महत्या करे, महिला के विरुद्ध बलात्कार हो, आप गायब।
ओके, fair point.
पर विश्व का दौरा करने के लिए आप सदैव तैयार।
Mrs. Before we close the interview, couple of quick questions. Do you think this election can be like 1996, 2004? Surprising results?
चौंकाने वाले नतीजे जरूर आएंगे, इसका मुझे पूरा विश्वास है। देश की जनता राजनीतिक रूप से पूर्ण रूप से अपना वर्चस्व रखती है और जागरूक है।
Do you think personally that Priyanka Gandhi Vadra should contest Lok Sabha elections this time?
Well, I have said this multiple times that contesting or not contesting an election is a personal decision, and I think that will and that decision of that individual must be respected. So, at the end of the day, whatever decision Mrs. Vadra takes, that decision has to be respected.
You spoke about Sumitra Mahajan. There was a reference to L.K. Advani. Can we say for the Congress, because the transition in BJP is taking place, they have retired all the leaders from Vajpayee era. Do you think that
they have not retired? They have disposed of. I just want to correct you.
Do you think that,
which is a travesty?
Do you think that the transition in Congress is also complete? This is the new Rahul Gandhi's Congress in 2019. All the people who entered political arena last 12, 15 years
I'll tell you,
are running the party now.
No, change is
like you.
A part of the human life cycle. There was a change when Rajiv ji came in 1984, December in 1985. So it's a part of an evolutionary process. And the only thing that's constant is change.
But there's a bit of a stalling also takes place in the change. Like many people thought that you should be the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh.
Well, I have always said that I have never been after a particular post. My father was not built like that. I am not built like that. I'm certainly after a certain cause. That cause is development and progress. And to me, my goal is development. And politics to me is only a means towards that end, and not the end in itself. And I think the test was for me when it came to that. And I think I have tried to do it with the utmost of grace and humility.
And last question to you, Mr. Scindia. People thought that, Congress would do really well in Madhya Pradesh. It became a really close election. Do you think that things have improved for Lok Sabha, or which way the Madhya Pradesh will go? Because it became very tight.
Yes,
you didn't get
you're absolutely right. And whenever all of you asked me what the result would be in terms of numbers, I had first always said to you that I'm not a Jyotish, and second, when they asked me a number, I had always said 116, which is the majority number. We fell too short of that, so I was 1.5% off target, which statistically also is excusable from any surveyor's point of view. Plus minus 1.5% is not a big margin. But nevertheless, I think we have taken historical steps after coming into government in a very, very short period of time. We've done a 40,000 crore loan waiver for 55 lakh farmers, depositing 51,000 rupees into every woman's account who gets married in Madhya Pradesh in a Samuhik Vivah environment where there are many couples. We have done our promise of Bijli bill half.
You said, you're talking about DBT. A lot of people, critics of Congress, say that DBT is financially unviable. Where will the people get money from? Sam Pitroda was talking about middle class being taxed. Doesn't it worry you? Because on one hand, when you talk about subsidy, it raises fear within the middle class of more tax.
No. What we have said, I talked about just now the loan waiver, as well as the cutting down of the electricity bill up till 10 horsepower by 50%, and up till 100 units consumption to 100 rupees, limited to 100 rupees. That was our commitment in our Sankalp Patra, which we've already delivered on. And I think these herald a commitment of the Congress towards every point in that Sankalp Patra, which we will deliver on in the days to come.
But as I asked you, doesn't it worry you when people talk about taxing the middle class more? Because that too...
But who has talked about taxing?
Like Mr. Pitroda spoke about,
I don't know
raising more money, raising more revenues. Where do you do that in this country? Barely few crores get taxed.
I don't believe that... I don't know what Mr. Pitroda has actually said, but I certainly believe in the Laffer curve model, which means that by lowering tax rates, one achieves a greater amount of compliance and a greater amount of revenue as well. And I think the Laffer curve model has worked historically from 91 till this day very well in India. And I do believe that consolidation of taxes and simplification of tax processes makes both compliance as well as generating more revenues much easier and with greater possibility. The same applies to the concept of GST, which is by far the most complicated process today.
Why do you say that?
Well, because we believed in, we were the ones who were the original champions of GST, but we believed in one nation and one tax. This government has brought one nation and 7 taxes, and we are going to do away with that. We believed in a mean rate with a merit and a demerit rate. So a very simple form of taxation, not this complicated system which has harassed every single trader and every single manufacturer across the country.
And last question to you, Mr. Scindia. How do you see this debate of nationalism panning out in this country, where people have to wear it on their sleeves? If you do not agree, you become a anti-national, not drawing distinction between a patriot and a nationalist. On a broader plane, where do you see it may end?
Well, where it will end is the re-emergence of the Gandhian spirit of tolerance. And I think that trumped all the imperialists who occupied our country. And that will trump these people who believe that hegemony of a autocracy and a dictatorship is what this country will accept. And they will know when they're thrown out on the 23rd of May.
So thank you. Thank you for making time for me.
Thank you very much.